I'd like to first thank the grace of heaven, the virtues of the masters, and the compassion and mercy of the grand predecessors, transmitters, temple hosts, lecturers, and everyone for giving me this opportunity today to talk about this topic today, which is knowing ourselves and the role we play. Okay. Yeah. I just, found out about doing this topic for Amy, but because she's on the road. So anyway, all right. Without further ado, let's talk about what is this topic. It's actually very practical, right? But okay, but it's you can say it's at the end of the day, this is what life is about. It's kind of weird. Okay, it's what it's about. Okay, that's it. I mean, it seems so simple, right? So anyway, but actually there are different layers of meaning. Okay, so first, okay, so let's talk about the intro. Okay, so these are just some bullet points. There are just a lot. Okay, just FYI, this topic is found. The Chinese version is found, in the 5-year curriculum book 1, or I guess they don't call it book 1, but it's called a new member class book. Okay, it's on pages 41, 45 to 48. But just FYI, I mean, it's in Chinese, unfortunately, but I gleaned a lot of information from there. Okay, so here goes. All right, so within this vast cosmos, we have arrived in this earthly world, right? Whatever. We don't know how, why, whatever. But we're here. Okay, we're here. So it's called a Saha realm. I mean, that's the Buddhist term. Okay, Buddha, it's Sapo is Sijie. Okay, so anyway. Okay, so we must, because we are here, we are present, we must satisfactorily complete our karmic affinities, fulfill the duties and mission of life. That is the true meaning of life. So this topic is a pretty, it's called a hybrid topic because it's connected with some different topics. Okay, so those of you, since this is the first year class, you would have just finished the Dharma class. So if you recall, in the first day of the Dharma class, the first topic, well, second topic, I guess, the true meaning of life, right? Okay, so that this is like the subtopic or follow on to that true meaning of life, and actually the third topic too, the preciousness of Tao, etc. Okay, but I'll get to that later. But so this is like, that's what I say. So it's going to have a lot of intersections and connections. Okay, so you'll see, in sections 2, 3, and 4. Okay, anyway, all right. So then the basic question is, who are we, right? In order to know what are about ourselves, we ask the question. You have to ask several questions, right? Who are we, and what is our role in life, right? Who we are, what is our role, or a higher level, the deeper question, the better question, I would say, is this, right? Is who is our true self, right? And that's the true meaning of life, preciousness of Tao. Anyway, okay. So anyway, okay. And then if we could ask these first two questions, right? Okay, then that means we would begin to have awakened or become self-aware to our true nature, to our Buddha nature. And then we can then establish our aspirations and destiny. Okay, so these two I highlighted, right? You could say will follow from these two. Get it? From these two questions. So you have to ask the right questions, obviously, right? So if you ask the right questions, then you kind of get pointed. Then if you ask the right questions, then you could have the potential answer, and this will then point you in the right direction, and therefore to know ourselves and the role we play. Make sense? Okay. So the next three, okay, these three are next three. But anyway, so this is a necessary realization for starting our lifelong process, or the sacred lifelong process of the cultivation of Tao. Okay, so we have to. So that's why we ask the right questions, then we get the right direction, and then it's the necessary step, right, to do that. Okay, to start our process, our lifelong journey of cultivation, and this understanding, therefore, is the foundation for establishing deep faith, not just superficial faith or not just purely intellectual faith, okay, but actual real faith, okay, real practical faith, you can say, okay, in what our Buddha nature, in the Tao, in setting goals, making vows, example, and in cultivation and fulfillment of our duties and mission life. Get it? Okay, so it's a build-up process, okay? Therefore, this is another way, I mean, this is a very high level, okay? I mean, there's another way of really expressing or manifesting the oneness of the Tao in each one of us. That is to be in accordance with, or at one with, or aligned with the Tao. Yeah, so we would think that, this very basic, very seemingly basic topic, or knowing ourselves and the role we play, actually is, if we do it right, okay, another way of saying it's oneness in life, in actual life, in day-to-day living. Okay, so how do I show it? Okay, let's go to section 2. All right, section 2. Okay, first part, know ourselves, right? And that is really a self-awareness of our essence, the realization of our Buddha nature. The awareness of our Buddha nature. Let's put it that way. It's the Buddha nature awareness, not the human consciousness awareness. There's a difference. All right. This goes to the core. This is the core. Okay. Human conscious awareness is just a function of that core, i.e., our Buddha nature. Or you can say the Tao within us. Okay, I mean, you can say the Tao within us, the Buddha nature, the true self, all that. Okay, all right. Okay, so the following, there are 11 points, 11 bullet points here. It came from Holy Teacher's scripture. Okay, one of the scriptures. So, and it's a progression, and which I'll try to explain it better, but anyway, it's it would take a lot of time. But if I go to too much detail, I'm trying to avoid that because I'm trying to cram everything in 1 hour or 50 minutes. But anyway, okay. So the first line is, "I am who? Who am I? Who can tell me?" Yeah, I mean that's the most fundamental question, right? One of the basic questions, right? Of discovering or exploring the true meaning of life, right? Or life's purpose, life's aim, life's goals, etc., etc. Okay. Okay, so we are asking, who's everybody? I don't want to go into too much detail because I have a lot of information, unfortunately, further on. So anyway, okay, so number 2, putting clothes on the body, just the body beneath is me. Yeah, I mean, at a superficial level, right, we say, hey, what a silly question. It's the body, the body underneath my clothes. That's me. That's the real me, right? So, right? Is it just the physical body? That's true me. Okay, all right, that's a progression, right? Okay, and it's easy to think that. Why? Because their line is, we tend to don't want to think too much, right? I mean, we're not philosophers, right? We're not some whatever, okay? And I want to, I don't want to be confused. I want to be confused, I eat, I see, I hear, I smell, I taste, I touch, I eat. I play, I talk, whatever, I touch, I do, whatever, I work, and I get tired and I fall asleep, and then the cycle repeats again and again. I mean, so what? That's it. I just want to live a good life. A happy life, right? Maybe not, not the best life that I wish I could live, but at least. Right? Get by. Okay? Right? I mean, that's very basic, right? That's very human, right? That's very human, right? Okay? So we would rather avoid thinking and confuse ourselves and live a happy life, right? I mean, that's the easy way. That's the easy stuff. Okay? All right. Fine. Okay, fine. All right. Now, and you can even say, okay, but then let's go a little bit deeper. Let's say, even if we are still wondering a little bit, who we are, right? You could say to yourself, hey, I'm still a good person. I have good qualities, right? I have good qualities. But unfortunately, I'm not infallible, i.e., we also make mistakes. I don't care how smart, how handsome, how gorgeous, how beautiful, how capable, how mighty, how rich, whatever, okay, how intelligent, whatever you are, we still make mistakes. That's called being human, right? To err is human, right? To forgive divine, right? That's one of the British poets. But anyway, okay, all right, okay. So what the heck, right? So okay, so even if we say, hey, I still have good qualities, but we're not infallible. And that's because everything is still based on this human nature, human consciousness, human view. Okay. So no matter how good qualities we have, we still make mistakes. Why? Because we're not perfect, because we're not acting according to our true selves, human nature versus Buddha nature, right? Human conscious level versus the Buddha nature, which is something that is, perfect. We'll talk a little bit about later and more, a little bit in section 2, maybe the end of the section. Okay. Anyway. All right. So, okay. So the whole idea is want to introduce to you, once we've entered the Tao, right? Receive the Tao blessing. That's the door opening for us to really explore, understand, knowing, and putting into practice, actually, okay, or displaying, manifesting what our true nature is, what the true me is, okay, the Buddha nature, true self, etc., okay, as opposed to just human nature, right? We have human flaws. We have good points, but we also have bad points, right? I mean, it's dialectic, right? Whereas the human nature, the Buddha nature is absolute. You can say it's pure, which I'll get to a little bit later, from. Anyway, okay, it's a lot of information. Okay, all right, so 5. So I have many ideals. I have many, dreams, hopes, aspirations, but I'm lazy and make excuses. Well, we all have dreams, right? We all have hopes. But due to various circumstances and excuses, due to karma and or human habits, tendencies, external conditions, etc., things that, you can say is either within our control or outside of control, right? We can't necessarily act on or fulfill or achieve, our dreams, hopes, aspirations, etc. Right? That's the human condition, right? That's called life, right? That's called life, right? Okay, right? Makes sense. So then we come back again to, is that the real me, though? Is that the real me? Is that still the real me? Is that what life is? Is that what life is? Has anyone ever thought about this? Hint: yes, there are. Buddha, all the enlightened beings, right? Okay, you can say even the great philosophers, okay, maybe whether or not they have attained a higher level or not, it's a different story, but at least, okay, so then, obviously this should be pretty obvious, right? Is my body and thoughts the true me? Some people say, yeah, okay, anyway, existentialists would say, yeah, that's me. Anyway, okay, or the real me. Is the body and consciousness eternal, permanent? Right? Human consciousness. I'm talking about human consciousness, right? Right? I mean, so we're getting a little bit deeper now. We're going, after this iteration of 1 through 5, we kind of come to the, at least, okay, if we want to, pursue that line of thinking or whatever, okay, that direction. Yeah. So after asking these serious questions, then, okay, 7, true or false? True or false? False or true? Who is exploring this? Always burned by the false body's weariness, fatigue, and drag. That means, something that you can say it's confinement, restrictions, restraint. Yeah, right? I mean, and not just the physical body, but I mean, when it says false body, it meant both physical and the mental side, or psychological, if you will, okay? Or and emotional, you can say emotion, okay? All right, so yeah, can we, we are, we're kind of like pushing to the limits, to the bonds of, human, physical, human consciousness, that type of question, okay? So then that means, are we able to distinguish what is true or false? Are we just pursuing the needs or desires of the? So it goes a little bit deeper, right? Further, questioning. Okay, when we could ask this question, okay, or whatever, these questions, then that means that we are ready, we are ready to go to the next level, next step. Okay, and the point number 8 kind of hints at it. So between the 2 trees, there is the true Buddha. In the sacred spiritual mountain resides the true self. Okay, that's pointing to the first treasure. So once we ask this question, or we at least, kind of touched upon this, then we are ready to go to the next level. That is to what? Quote unquote, receive the Tao, or, have the Tao blessing. To what? Actually open the door to say, so here it is. Everything is true. It's all dialectical. It's all dualistic, because we're still using our human consciousness, our human mind, human thoughts, whatever, okay? Once we hit the limit, or, the limit, its limitations, then maybe we are ready to go beyond. And that is, then we realize, aha, those human consciousness, thoughts, emotions, feelings, whatever, they're just a function, a manifestation of something that's more true. That's the core, i.e., we discovered, quote unquote, you can say discovered or rediscovered, discovered our true self, our true me, the eternal me, the non-dualistic me. Okay, we'll talk about it a little bit later. Okay, all right, okay. And once we do this, once we have this, then we can open up. What is innate? What is its innate qualities? That's already there. It's built in. It's like say built-in functions or whatever. Okay, that is, we're able to display that immense loving kindness, benevolence, humanity. So good, and therefore so good karmic, so good. Okay, so that means what it is that I don't know in the first year topic you touch upon this, but definitely in the second, hopefully in the second year, definitely in the third year. When we are in accordance with the true self, it will display its innate, immeasurable loving kindness. For example, the true nature is innately endowed with the four immeasurable minds. That's one example. The qualities, that quality of the four immeasurable minds. Okay, but I don't want to go into too detail into that, but just take a note of that. Okay, all right. I don't know. I don't think first year class we might not deal with that topic. Okay, but then. Once that happens, in turn, it will plant the seeds of good karma for good blessings, because everything is coming from our true nature, from the core, from that immutable true self, okay? The changeless, timeless true self, formless true self, the true form of the formless, right? That's what Buddha said, right? Okay, anyway, okay, all right. Then, once we understand that, how do we display that? How do we do that? We have to do this. We have to cultivate and practice, carve, polish, and refine that sparkling and bright and brilliant and shining true natural self. Okay. So by true cultivation, and real practice, that is by following our true self, Buddha nature, our actions and lives will reflect the Tao, or manifest the Tao, or express the Tao and our marvelous true nature. Okay, in the Analects, it talks about that in the first book, chapter 15. Okay, I mean, kind of like metaphorically describes self cultivation. Okay, then the last point. Okay, then this is where it gets a little bit deep, okay, a little bit more deep. Then this outstanding skills of this immutable absolute being so free and easy, how can one be tied down? Okay, so this is the liberation. This is Jietuo. At this level, when we start out with the most basic question, right, at the beginning, first bullet point, right, first line, all the way to we came back. We discovered something new. We finally found our answer. You can answer of who we are. The outstanding skills of this immutable absolute. Okay, that immutable absolute. Okay, that's in the Chinese term right here. We have this term right here. Okay, I mean, it depending how you want to translate it. It's difficult to translate actually, because we're describing the undescribable more or less. Okay, the true essence we're describing. So it's basically this. You can say this. It's the non-attached, non-dualistic. That's why it's not the human nature. Get it? This is the essence. It's not the human nature. It's not the human conscious mind. Okay, or consciousness. Okay, whatever. It's unmoving, unperturbed, unchanging suchness, thusness. That's the Tathata and Sutata. Okay, that's the Sanskrit term. It's also, you can call it the Dharmakaya, Fasen, Dharmakaya, which is the essence. That's the essence. Okay, that's the essence. But the essence also has its functions. That is right here. The second half of this term, okay, that's the outstanding skills, functions, manifestations of our essence, of that Dharmakaya. So the Dharmakaya, or the essence, plus the skills and function is the oneness. Remember to the last bullet point of the intro, right? That's what it is. That's what it is. So that's why the sense, the outstanding skills of this meaning, that's the outstanding skills is the function, the functions, or the innate functions, innate abilities, you can say innate, of this immutable, which is the Dharmakaya, the essence, or the Buddha nature, true nature. Okay? All right? Make sense? See, that's the oneness. So at the ultimate level, when we know ourselves, and then we display that, we do that, then we are at one with the Tao. Okay, all right, so that's cool, right? That's neat, okay? But then obviously we're talking about this now, the functions, which will be the part 2, okay? That is knowing the role we play. So we have to play a role. We have to display it. We have to act, I would say act out. We have to conduct ourselves accordingly to whatever role that karma places us in this life, right? Okay, we're here. Now, I'm not going to say 100%, but most likely a high percentage, we are here in this world mainly because of karma. Okay, causality. Now, that doesn't mean that we have not made vows or previous lives. No, we have. We still have. But then that also is the seed. Okay, I mean that plants the seed, and then the result is it's going to come into play in the second, in this next life. Okay, but anyway, so it's causality. Okay, it's causal. Okay, anyway, all right. So that's neat, right? Okay, so the above points give us a deep understanding. It's a deep understanding, right? That physical body is false. That fame, wealth, status, and riches and all external phenomena are illusory. Okay, now literally in this Chinese term right here is right here. Where is it? Where is that term? Where's that term? Ooh. Okay, here in Chinese. Okay, the last word it means mirror, flower, water, moon. It's an idiom, okay? It's an idiom. It means flowers in a mirror, moon in the water. It means illusion. It's an illusory, okay? This recalls, those of you who have read Diamond Sutra, have you read the Diamond Sutra? The very last chapter section, all dharmas are false, or all dharmas are unreal, or whatever, all phenomena. That's 32, okay? All phenomena are like a dream, an illusion, a bubble, and a shadow, like dew and lightning. Thus should we regard them as such. Okay, that's Buddha's words. Okay, all right. So this is more eloquent. Yeah, basically, all right. Okay, so now we understand that, right? That even the human nature, human consciousness, thoughts are not real. Okay, because they come and go. Our thoughts come and go. Our consciousness come and go. Right? Come and go. When we're asleep, you can say our subconscious is still active, but definitely our conscious is not. I could probably, hit you and you probably won't feel it. Okay. But anyway, okay, stuff like that. Okay. All right. We're like in a dreamlike state or whatever. Okay. Anyway. All right. Doesn't matter. But the point is, it's not real. Okay. They all know. Get it? Okay. Next point. So only this self-sufficient Buddha nature is the root, the source, the essence. That is just the true self, or true nature, you can say. That is changeless in time and space. Okay, it's changeless. It never, as opposed to human consciousness, right? Human nature. Okay, that if you read the Tao Te Ching, I can make a reference. Chapter 62, the wondrous Tao. First line, the Tao is the wonder of all things. Okay, so that kind of stuff that talks about. Okay, that it's the root, it's the source of all things. All right. Okay, so that's more elegant. You can reference chapter 62. But anyway, okay. All right. So okay, then this essence, what? Does not increase in its divineness, or I don't want to say divinity. Divinity sounds kind of weird, but anyway, in its divineness, and does not diminish in its worldliness. Right? Recall? Anybody remember Heart Sutra? Heart Sutra, right? Sariputra. This is not the person. This Sariputra talks about it's Mataya. Okay, as I said, that it's a fasen, it's the essence, the true nature. Okay, the void, the true emptiness essence of all dharmas, of everything. Okay, and the Tao. Okay, go from the Tao to at a grand level. Okay, neither created nor annihilated, neither defiled nor pure, neither increasing nor diminishing. Okay, it's complete. You can say it's complete. Okay, it's nothing greater than it and nothing smaller than it. That's another way of saying. Okay, so that's really getting to we really are deeply exploring of what is our true nature, what is the essence, what is the Tao, essence of Tao. Okay, so only by knowing the real self will life have a focus. Oops, where one will not drift with the currents, that is, drifting in the sea of suffering, i.e. samsara. Okay? So that's why we have to, it's important to know, to ask the question, who is our true self? Who is the true me? Okay? So once you could ask that question and reach this highest level, then you will have a focus in life and will be able to transcend this samsara. Okay, so now this is all talking about the essence, right? Who are we? Okay, now do I have time? Oh, good. Okay, good. Then the second half, section 3, is to know our roles. Okay, once we have an idea, you may not know what your essence is perfectly, not yet. We're not at that level, right? There are many, many levels, remember, okay? Until you reach the ultimate, right? The ultimate is, we say, Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi, okay? Or Wu Sang Zhen Den Zhen Jue, okay? That would be the highest, okay? Highest level, okay? Okay, that would be called supreme, absolute supreme, unexcelled, unsurpassed, absolute supreme, perfect enlightenment. There are many levels reaching up there, okay? So as we know from the previous section, we know we received the Tao, we know what the first treasure is, we have an idea, we learn, we study, we learn, practice, go from the basic level, from the precepts, etc., all that stuff, to learn a little bit more about who the true me is, okay, the true self is, the Buddha nature. That we can then begin to know what our role is, i.e. the applications, manifestations of our essence. See? So we have essence and function, right? Essence and function. Essence, who we are, who we really are. Function, knowing your role. Not just knowing the role, it's really playing your role. Maybe, we said playing a role, right? And the role we play, right? It's knowing our role. I mean, I say knowing our role. Maybe I should say playing our roles. Okay, it doesn't matter, okay? Okay? All right. So to know our roles, then, we must determine the aim of life, though, right? In order to play our role, right? We need a script, right? We need a script, an arc, a trajectory, right? Okay, so we know what the direction is, okay, what the direction is, what the aim is, what the goals are, right? And also to know what the proper direction is. Okay, so that's, the first question is kind of like partially answered in the true meaning of life, right? Okay, life's purpose. And then we have to know then what's the direction. That's why we have to cultivate. We have to learn about the Tao, right? Learn about the teachings that the Buddha, sages, all that previous enlightened beings point us, showed us the way, right? They showed us the way. They paved the road for us to follow. Okay, so all right, so then we have to know. So in order to know the proper direction, we need to understand the precious of Tao and the golden thread, heaven's mandate, grace and virtues of masters, Four Noble Truths, etc., right? That's part of our curricular class topic in the Dharma class. Remember, right? So that kind of like helps us, points us in the right direction. Okay, and then to know our roles or to play the roles in our life, we need to understand we all have karma. We all have karma. We still have karma. You cannot run away from it. Okay. You can hide, but you can't run away from it. Okay. And we must accept our karmic affinities. So that is to understand the principle of causality, the 6 paths of reincarnation, etc., etc. Okay. All right. So we have to, even though, once we know what the direction is, what the purpose is, what the direction is, we can play our role, but we have to understand it's going to be combined with our karma, okay, our karmic affinities, okay, get it? It's not going to be detached. It's not going to be separate. It's going to be combined. It's going to be merged together. But there's a way out. Okay. I mean, but there's a way. Okay. Okay. All right. So, all right. Okay. So, all right. And then the next section is also from Holy Teacher Scripture. He has, I think, 9 lines, 9 points. Okay. So it's a progression too. Okay. So first point, who is directing this? Oh, man, I don't like this. Damn it. Ooh, okay. Hold on. Okay. So who is directing this play? To act well in this play is up to ourselves, right? Yeah, I mean, to right? We play a character. We play a certain character in a role, right? You want to do your best, right? You don't want to miss your lines. You want to misspeak your lines, whatever. Okay, so you have to do it well, right? To make it real. Right? To make it credible, right? Believable, right? So we have to do well, okay? So we should know who the actor is in the play. That's us. We're not watching a movie or a play or theater or whatever, okay? An opera or whatever. But it's actually us, okay? All right? To quote a great literist and a minor philosopher, he has some philosophical musings or wonderings, Shakespeare. Right, I forgot which work it is. I think it's anyway. He says all the world is a stage, right? All the world is a stage, right? Okay, so anyway, yeah. I mean, okay, so all right, so we done, okay, and also it is up to us to decide if we want to play the role of life well or not, right? It's us to decide how to play, right? Right? We can do it sloppy, or we can be very bad at it, or we can do very good. Right? Okay, it's up to us. The point is, it's up to us. Now, this is also within karma. Okay, within karma. Yes, how well we play it. If let's say we don't have the Tao, we don't know anything about the Tao. How we play it, well or not, will most definitely depend. I would say 99% would depend on karma. Get it? Okay, on your karma. Okay, so like I said, remember we have a way out. And that is after we, quote unquote, received the Tao blessing and we started learning, practicing, cultivating, speaking of the Tao, then we can, I don't want to say we can change. Yeah. Ultimately, you can change our destiny, our fate. But we can sort of like bend the karma to our benefit or something like that. Okay. All right. Okay. So obviously it's through Buddha's help. Okay. That's why we have to cultivate. We have to earn merits. We have to have virtue and merits. Okay. And those are the 2 currencies that can be used by our holy teacher and the Buddhas to sort of help us to change our fate or destiny or our karma. Get it? Okay. All right. So we may not have a choice to being born in a particular lot, right? Oh, I'm born in a poor family, or I'm born in a filthy rich family, or whatever. I'm born ugly. I'm born beautiful. I'm born smart. I'm born dumb. Whatever. Doesn't matter, right? All those 2 extremes, right? Those 2 extremes. But we can make the best or worst of what we were born into. Okay. So the point is, you still have some choice. You still have some options. What I'm saying. Okay. All right. Okay, so 2. Okay, so no matter what the role, whether it's male, female, painted face, or comic, we must try our best. We must not have any false pretenses. Okay, so now the reason why it's male, female, painted face, just FYI, it's here, it's here, it's this. These are the 4 terms that use in ancient Chinese, traditional Chinese opera. They use opera. Right? You see the painted faces, the white face, the black face, the red face, the blue face, the yellow face, all that stuff, right? Remember? Right? I don't know if you've seen opera, that's a plan. Okay, that's just denoting. Okay, that's just metaphorical. Okay, I mean, just a different lot in our lives, due to karma. Okay, so in any role we are in, we must act with dignity, integrity, sincerity, loyalty, etc. Right? The 5 relationships, the 8 virtues, etc. All right? Okay, whole bunch. All right. So that's what I'm saying. So hopefully in the first year class, I think you do learn a little bit about the 5 relationships, the 8 virtues, and all that stuff. Okay. That hopefully even the 4 noble truths, the 8 fold paths. I don't know about maybe the 6 parameters, maybe. I don't know, the five cardinal sins, all that stuff, right? The 5 taboos, whatever, all that stuff, right? You should learn. So in whatever role we are in, we must act according to Tao in order to change our destiny, right? That's why we need that. Okay, all right? Okay. Then the third level, if we could do that, then see to build these 9 steps, you can say they build up just like the previous 11, okay, and in previous section. So if we play our roles well with heart and soul, and we're very diligent, very good, every play still has an ending, okay? So even though, remember here, different lot in life, right? Where is it here? Okay, we're rich, poor, famous, obscure, powerful, weak, gorgeous, ugly, whatever. Okay. It's not permanent. It will end, right? Okay, the arc will end. So in any role we play, as we must do our best in accordance with our roles and responsibilities, and in accordance with our direction and goal in life. Okay, all right. Okay, that's why it's important to learn about and cultivate the Tao in order to change our destiny. Okay, so all the roles have an ending. They're not permanent. They can have multiple roles, though, right? You can be a parent and a spouse and a sibling, a student, worker, manager, retiree, etc. Same time, right? So you can say we wear many hats, right? We play different roles, right? But that's all external, right? That's all the functions. That's all the different functions, manifestations of our true self. Okay, all right, okay. So now the roles that we play, so you can say, yeah, they have many stories, life stories, right? Are rich and full of ups and downs, whatever. So stories can move people to tears within every act in this play of life. Every performance is a blend of reunion and separation. Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah. Now this reunion and separation could be between people or between what we have received and what we have lost, what we have gained and what we have lost. And that type of stuff. Okay. The ups and downs in life. Okay. Or we can say, yeah. Let's just talk about human relationships. Right. We're born in this world into a family. We grow up in the family. We establish relationship. We have kinship, right? Kinship, qing, right? Qing, kinship, right? And we have friendship, 朋友, okay? With friends or colleagues, neighbors, etc., right? So we establish relationships, right? 关系, right? Relationships, okay? Right? So that's very nice and good. But guess what? And it could touch people, right? It could be, better or worse, for better or worse, right here. All the roles in the play of life, about stories that move and touch people for better or worse. And all the stories of life are about meeting and then leaving each other, right? One day, we will go, right? We will leave, we will depart, we will relinquish our role, right? Whatever role it is, right? We will depart, we will become separated. So that's the up and down, right? That's the departure of life, right? Right? Okay, so that is the great circle of life, right? Tao Te Ching expressed it better in chapter 50. Okay, you can talk about it. Very first line, coming to life, entering death. Wow, that's the beginning and end, right? So coming to life and departure from life. There's always the first and last chapter of life. That's the human condition, right? Ups and downs. There's always the good part, the bad part, the joyful part, the happy part. Oh, we meet, we establish kinship, friendship, etc., relationship, etc. But then at the end, we become separated. We leave, right? We depart. We finish that role, right? And then that's the sadness part, you can call it, right? Okay, so there's the separation, there's the reunion and separation. Okay, so basically it's the human condition. But that's what life is, right? That's the whole story of life. That's the great circle of life, right? From Tao Te Ching. Okay, chapter 50. Anyway, okay, so in that, along with that, we how can I say? If we remember, this is from the previous, if we could play number three, if we say number three, number two, number three, okay, if we do it well, if we play our roles well, if we study, cultivate, and practice the Tao well, okay, we will not just touch ourselves, okay, not just affect ourselves with our sincerity, with our, where we will not have any suspicions or misgivings about how we live this life, but also we will touch others. Okay, we will also influence others, affect others. That's what this basically means. Okay, so by manifesting the true self, right, in our roles, we are the most honest, sincere, and true selves. So there's no need to have any misgivings or the doubts in that we play. Okay, because not only can we change our lives, but we can also affect others. Okay, so that's what it is. Okay, so that's a good progression, right? Okay, then number 6, if we could do that well, if we do that, then since we are all fellow cultivators, we affect others. Remember, we influence others from the previous point, right? Then they also will hear about the Tao, listen to the enter the Tao, receive the Tao, and also continue to cultivate along with you, right? Then that's how we develop a kinship, right? A relationship. Then we can always, because we all are cultivating well with the same aim, same goal, whatever, playing our different roles, doesn't matter. We will always maintain harmony and we will always respect each other. Okay, so although we play roles, different roles, but because we're all practitioners of the Tao, that is, we're all working harmoniously in the same direction with the same goals, we have respect with everybody, right? For everybody. Okay, now if we do that, then all that is spoken will be good, praiseworthy words. We will encourage others. We will enlighten each other. We will help each other, etc., etc. Okay, all right. So everyone will be very happy, right? So people will be happy with our good words because not just words, but actions, etc. Because we manifest the Tao in our lives, right? Previous section 2, number 10. Okay, all right. You can look it up. Okay. So because of time, okay. So number 8. The next progression is now, if we could do 5, 6, and 7, well, when the play is over, when our role is done, i.e., when it's time to leave, right? Sadness follows a joyful reunion, though, right? Is that true? I mean, literally, okay, the Chinese term literally means the tune ends, all good things must come to an end, right? When the play ends, right? When the play ends, people disperse. That's a literal translation. Okay, so basically, in the end, where do we go? So that's the question then, right? That becomes the question, right? When the play is over, our roles and people become what? Sad after being together, but are now separated, right? That's the human condition, remember? But the more that's what everybody encounters, right? That's whether we follow the Tao or not. That's what everybody, right? Everybody will encounter this, right? Okay. So the more important question is, where do we go after this play of life has ended? Will we take on another role in another play and meet those others or others we have not met before in the next play, in the last play? Okay, so that's the question. And how many roles and plays will we go through? Will this cycle never end? So this is the reincarnation of samsara. So if we don't do the Tao well, if we don't do the 5 steps, 5, 6, 7, 7 well, and from the previous section, we don't know that, then we will go through all this. We will go through all this again and again, okay? So we should not be attached to this confusion. I mean, the literal translation is confusion. It just means to this cycle, this reality, this we call it reality. What's our reality? This illusion. Maybe that's a better word. This illusion. Okay, that is the cycle of reincarnation, the samsara. Okay, so we should not be attached to the cycle of roles and one play after another, because this is how karma works. Samsara, right? Okay. So instead, we should break free of this vicious cycle of samsara and cultivate to know who we really are and play the role given by karma in accordance with the direction it goes. Okay, we still have to play that role. Okay, we can't escape because that's karma. Okay, so we should know where our original permanent home is and return to the source. Right? Recall, when drinking water, we think of its source. Right? Okay, so that's how it works. So all things. So remember I say it's also intertwined, the roles that we play is intertwined with karma, right? All things arise from causes and conditions. All dharmas are extinguished. So our roles are the result from causes and conditions in previous life, right? And all things, including roles, our roles are ended through causality also. Right? Okay. So we're not escaping from causality. We're still following causality. But we are harmonizing with causality. That's called 随缘. Okay, but anyway, okay, all right, okay. So to comply with karma is inevitable, and invariably or ultimately, karma still will happen, right? That's the law of causality. That's the principle, right? We can't escape. You can run, but you can run, but you can't hide from it. Okay, so a better way is, another way is, if you recall, Tao Te Ching chapter 73, heavenly net. Okay, the heavenly net is vast, loose, and yet does not let anything through it. Okay, that's Lao Tzu's way of talking about causality. Okay, anyway, that's FYI. Okay, all right. So in the karmic destiny of life, that is the predestined relationships, we play our roles well and act accordingly. Okay, according to the Tao. That's what I'm saying. So do your best to fulfill your responsibilities at home, at work, and career. Do your best to fulfill your mission in life within the goal. Okay, so there's two tracks. You can say two track, right? We have roles, right? Be it a husband, spouse, whatever. Teacher, student, worker, manager, whatever. Okay, so that's the what we call the secular life, or the not. Okay, the non-Tao life. I would say non-Tao, the secular life. So you still have to do it well. Okay, but we do it also in concordance with the Tao principles. That's why we have to learn about the Tao. We have to study the Tao. Okay, and also within the Tao track, okay, the Tao sphere, we also have to fulfill our missions. Okay, just like in the secular world, we also have to try to fulfill attain our achievements, right? We want to be a successful worker, manager, whatever. Okay, a good husband, right, or a good parent, all that stuff. Okay, right, same idea. Okay, so we diligently learn, cultivate. How do we do that? We diligently learn, cultivate, speak, propagate, and practice the Tao. And we actively contribute, dedicate, and work diligently, bearing responsibility without complaint. Okay? All right, that's how we do it. Now, let's get to the summary. So I have like 13 minutes. No, less than 13. How many minutes do I have? 7, 8? Okay, maybe 8 minutes. Let's do 55 minutes, okay? So I think I could do it. Summary and conclusion. So life cannot be repeated though, right? Right? It only... Okay, even though you can say, when I say life, maybe it should better say this life, okay, or the current life, okay, cannot be repeated, right? It's the arrow of time. It's one direction, right? It's unidirectional, okay? So we should cherish the present, seize the moment. Don't dwell on the past. Say, it could have been this or that, or I wish it was like, it could have been, whatever, this or that. Or, I wish I could do this and that or whatever. No, don't worry about it. Just focus on the present. Focus on the present. Seize the moment. Okay, that's how we start. It's very basic. Okay, very, very basic. Okay, we do that. Okay, seize the day, right? Seize the moment. Okay, all right. We do what is on hand. We respond to whatever the situation that occurs at the moment, not in the past or not in the future. Okay, all right, okay. So that's like saying being in the moment. Okay, in that respect, it's a narrow way. Being in the moment. Okay, anyway, there are different levels, but at least at the basic level. Okay, so do not leave this life empty-handed. Yeah, empty-handed. What do I mean? Yeah, hey, we all know that, hey, when we pass away, I don't care how much wealth you have, you can't take it with you. I don't care how many beautiful wives you have, cars, homes, whatever clothes you have, you can't take it with you, right? All the previous rulers, monarchs, emperors, pharaohs tried it. Still, they can't take it with them, right? Obviously. When I'm talking about empty-handed, meaning that you did not achieve the highest goal that you could do in your life, okay? In this life, sorry, okay? So we must actively practice virtue, service, or merits, and words. That's called the 3 imperishables, or the unrotted, that cannot be rotted, okay? It literally means 三不朽, 三不朽. Okay, that's the 3. Shu means to be rotten, okay, to rot. Okay, so if we could practice virtue or accumulate, establish virtue, merits, serve, and good words or good deeds, good words, then we will not leave. We will not leave this world. We will not finish our role empty-handed. Get it? Okay, so that's very important. Only then will there be plentiful and substantial sweet fruits. achievements, accomplishments. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, so cherish this life, maximize or express or manifest the value of this life. Okay, that's very important. All right. Now for the next 6 bullet points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It came from it's in that book. It's in that handbook. Okay, the first year handbook. It's on page 48. It comes from it's long. I mean, I just took a sampling, a sampling. There was like 20 bullet points. That's too long. I was like, there's no way I can explain it to detail. Okay. So basically, I just took a few. Okay. And this shit's kind of like, it's the core. It's good. Okay. So first one, play the proper role of life and make it great. Right. That's a good aspiration. Right. Now, we can do that with the Tao. Definitely will help us. We can achieve that. Okay. Without it, maybe not. Okay. It's possible, but maybe not. Okay, I mean, there are people, great people, right, who've done, in life, who did good things, right, who did great things. Okay, I mean, that's not to say, but very far and few. Okay, but with the Tao, we're talking from the Tao perspective now. Okay, so it doesn't matter what role, you may play a leading role, or a backup role, or a minor role. Okay, doesn't matter what role we play in the stage of life, right? In the great play of life or stage of life. As long as we follow the Tao, we can make the role, make it great. Whatever role it could be a minor role, backup role, primary role, leading role, whatever. Okay. Number 2, cherish the existence of this life and make it flourish. Something to cherish, right? Okay. Light the torch of life and make it brilliant. Okay, make our life brilliant. Okay, send forth the light and warmth of life and the enabled splendor. Expand the realm of life and make it boundless. Create the meaningful qualities of life and make it precious. Okay, I mean, these are all very, very, very aspirational, very, very beautiful, right? Very beautiful goals, right? Okay, we can only do this, achieve this, accomplish this if we play our roles right, and I cannot stress enough, we follow our Buddha nature and manifest its innate, immeasurable functions, right? The 4 immeasurable minds, all that, the innate, that. So, right? Okay, so that's okay. So that's what. So that's the summary. I'm gonna finish the conclusion is this came from also. We don't know which Buddha. I don't think it's Holy Teacher. It's not probably Holy Teacher. Merciful. It's I call it 5 aspects. Literally, it means 5 dimensions. I mean, literally, that's what it means. But five areas, five points, 5 considerations. The first point, there are 5. Okay, so to cultivate the Tao, we must have the speed of the great rock. You know what the great rock is? It's mentioned in Zhuangzi. Okay, Zhuangzi, that's another Tao philosopher after Lao Tzu's time. Okay, 2,400, 500 years ago. It's called the great rock. I mean, it's a giant bird. They're called a peng niao or whatever, niao peng. Okay. Anyway, it's a metaphor. It's a metaphor. It transformed from a giant fish called a kun. Okay, that it transformed. That means that transformation is a metaphor. This is all metaphorical. Okay, it sounds like fiction or whatever, stories. It is. It's a parable story. It's the fish. The fish is called a great kun fish because it means you've reached the highest level of being a human. Human like a superior being. Okay, that's why you became a great fish. Then you transform. You reach. I don't say enlightenment, but you reach the first levels of epiphany, and you transform into this great bird, and the great bird will fly great distance. That's our journey of life and reach its destination. Okay, but anyway, so that's how the story goes. Okay, so another way to start is the Tao Te Ching, chapter 41. Okay, chapter 41, hearing about the Tao. Okay, so higher people hear of the Tao and diligently practice. Okay, that's another way of saying. Okay, all right, Okay, so anyway, that's that's a good one. So and also we must repay when we play the role. We must repay an obligation to our parents. Okay, that's example would be filial piety. That's why that's the first class and second day Dharma class. That's why it's so important. It's like a cornerstone, foundation of our cultivation, right? Okay, so I mean, okay, all right. So yeah, this is an idiom. It's an idiom. Okay, this is an idiom. Okay, in Chinese. Okay, anyway, and this also comes from I didn't reference it here, but it comes from also from the Analects, from Confucian. Okay, but we don't just. Then the third point is this: the width of the sea embraces all rivers, literally all rivers from that. That means another way of saying is Tao Te Ching chapter 32, to know where to rest. That is the last line. An example for the existence of Tao in the world is like value, because the Tao, that's the Tao embraces all. If the Tao does not reject anyone, good or bad, doesn't matter, right? It embraces all. It has this, you can say magnanimity, okay? Okay, you can say tolerance. Tolerance is really the next step, but you can say something like tolerance too. Okay, so that's what the Tao. So the Tao is like that. So that's why the Tao Te Ching chapter 32 said that the existence of Tao is like the streams, the valley streams that go into the ocean. Okay, river. Okay. The fourth point, to ascend Mount Tai means, oops, sorry. Okay, hold on. Okay, to ascend Mount Tai. That means the highest peak. That's a spiritual mountain in Chinese. It's a real mountain. It's like one of the 5 sacred mountains in China, ancient China. But anyway, it just means that you've reached the highest level. Okay, whether in the secular world, or in this case, it would be the spirit, in the Tao level. Okay, but anyway, and yet you have, even though you ascended the highest level, you reached the highest level, yet you have the capacity and tolerance to see the world below. That means what means is that recall Tao Te Ching chapter 61. Okay, it's basically saying that to be that ruling a large kingdom. So you've achieved, you reach the highest. You're a king. You're king of the country or kingdom, whatever. Okay, but it's like dwelling at the lowest river. Yet you are also mindful. You also accept, people below you. You're not just arrogant. Okay, you're not arrogant. Okay, if you go into details, this is called servant leadership and all that stuff. Okay, anyway, it just means that even though no matter however level you've achieved, whether in the secular realm or in this case we say in the Tao, right, you still is open or able to put yourself in the shoes of the people below you or the lowest level or the novices. Well, not easy. All right. Okay. The fifth point, the demeanor of meekly submitting to humiliation. That is to be able to turn the other cheek. Okay. Jesus did that, right? Whatever, right? What's that? When someone slaps you on one cheek, you turn to the other side to have to the other cheek, all right, whatever, right? Okay, something like that. So in Tao Te Ching, same thing, chapter 66, okay, similar, right? It says the reason why rivers and oceans can be those kings of 100 valleys is because of their goodness and staying low. It just means that, being humble, even though you play your role well, okay, you've done the best, yet you're not arrogant. You're not saying, hey, this story is only about me. Okay, but yet involves everybody else, from the supporting roles to the minor roles. They all help you achieve a successful role. Okay, okay, same idea. All right, okay. So 5 things to bear in mind. Lastly, 3 points. I think I've used up almost my time. We must believe that as long as we can use these above points to encourage ourselves, we can definitely play the role of a good life. Then it is worth it to go through this life once. Then, by knowing ourselves and the role we play, and if we know and manifest the Tao by our true cultivation and real practice, then we can say we are in accord with, at one with, and alignment with the Tao. That's called oneness. So that's from the very last point that I made in the intro, right? Of how this is another way of manifesting the oneness in Tao. If we really, truly know ourselves and the role we play in life. Okay, I'm sorry it took about an hour, exactly an hour. It's a lot, and believe me, there's a lot more that I haven't said. I've included. Okay, but anyway, so if I said anything, if I missed anything, if I said anything wrong, I ask for the leaders and sages and everybody else's correction and guidance. Thank you.